All right, I have a confession to make. I have been driving my 2024 Tesla Model 3, so a facelifted one, for about 11 months now, so nearly 12 months, and most aspects of it I really like. They've done a lot of great work on this car. But there's one thing that despite my very best effort, I have not learnt to like. In fact, I quite passionately dislike it, and that is these. The push button indicators. I don't know who thought that was a good idea to get rid of stalks, which weren't broken. They've served us pretty well for decades, and replace them with buttons, which if you're driving and taking the moderate turns is fine. But if you're on a roundabout, and we have a lot of those in Britain, then you're indicating right and then indicating left, and you're having to find whereabouts the button is with your thumbs on one side of the wheel. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And I'd have to admit, I've also not got used to the notion of swiping up and swiping down to put the car in gear. I just don't like it. Again, it wasn't broken. The stalk on the right, it did the job. It didn't need replacing. But today, we are going to fix Tesla's mistake, because I have the sexy stalks from Enhance Auto. Now, I really like these guys. If you watch my videos about the Commander unit, which every Tesla owner should have, I assure you, the link's up there, do have a look. And also my sexy buttons and my sexy knob, which is down there. I'm so sorry about the name, I didn't come up with it. But this is what we're talking about today. And these are stalks. I'm going to put stalks back in the car. I'm going to fix Tesla's mistake. Stay tuned, we'll install them together. Okay, so let's kick things off by obviously saying a huge thank you to Enhance Auto. They have sent me these. I haven't paid for these. I have received them for free. I have bought Enhance Auto items previously, and I think they're worth every penny. But huge thanks to them for the fact that they've sent me these to test free of charge. If you do want to buy them, then the link is up there, or there's a description, a link down the description, along with a discount code. And honestly, the technology that they produce and the enhancement to the car are absolutely worth having. If you're a Tesla Model 3 or Model Y driver in particular, definitely go for it, but also the same if you've got an S or an X. But anyway, let's have a look at these stalks. So in the box here, you literally have a pair of stalks and lots of sticky bits. Then the idea here is to make installation super easy. So it shows you which goes on which side, and the idea is that you then pull these off in the order, because they are numbered, if you can see on there. I don't know if that's if the autofocus is picking it up, hopefully it did. So they are numbered 1, 2, 3. So you put them in the right place and then you pull the stickers off, and that would mean that it's stuck. And then number 3, actually, I think, makes the battery work, because at the minute they'll have a piece of plastic blocking the terminals. So you've got a left and a right. Now, in the box, you also have the wiring loom. Now, I'll get rid of that box over there. You have the wiring loom to be able to connect the Commander. Now, it depends on which Tesla you're using. The Commander goes down there, so in the newer model, down in the, when you open the door, you pull the rubber seal and just take the panel off the side. On the right hand side, you can access it there. In the older models, it's actually down here, but of course, if you're installing stalks, you won't need them in the older model, because you've still got them. But in a new model, your Commander unit goes down there. But I said the Commander unit is brilliant and worth every penny. Looks like this. This is the Commander unit. So there's one in this box with the stalks. Honestly, it's game changing. And the wiring loom that goes with it, I'm not going to go through all this, to be fair. If you want to have a look, please go to Enhance Auto's content, and they will show you exactly how to install. But the loom is in there, and you literally disconnect a plug, put this in there so you can connect the Commander and then reconnect everything up. So the car, allows it to share all the data from your driving, from the functionality, and the whole lot is then transmitted through to the Enhance Auto app. So it's brilliantly functional. But anyway, back to the stalks. So this is a relatively straightforward installation. The thing itself feels lovely. It's nice and solid. It's nice solid plastic. It's got the button on the end, exactly like the old stalks in the old car. So it should be a relatively easy installation. Okay, so first things first, in the box you have a wet wipe. So the idea here, of course, is to make sure this is all clean and dust free. So I've got my GoPro set up just in front. So let's get this out and let's make sure we're sticking nice clean, just sticking onto a nice clean surface. So it's just under here, so it's obviously the bit that doesn't move with the steering wheel is where our installation goes. So we'll make sure it's all completely clean and as dust free as we can get it. And we'll just give that a quick wipe over just to check that it is completely clean and dry. And then you take your stalk. So I'm going to start with this one, and on the top there, if you can see, it's labelled, and I really am hoping you can see on the autofocus, but just in case you can't, it says right top, right bottom. So number 1 on the end of the little pull there is right top, and then number 2 is right bottom. So it says to place the stalks, align the lines, and then just pull. So if I go back onto the camera here, and the direction is indicated as well, so that will go, let's make sure we're putting that in exactly the right place. Let's get close and have a look. That will go on, oh there, so it's down here, so I can feel that that's exactly where it fits, because nothing else, yeah, that's the perfect fit. So I'll grab number 1 and I will pull it, and it comes off, it takes a bit of pulling, but that's good because you want your adhesive to work. So that's number 1. And then I will pull off number 2 underneath. And then last but not least would be number 3, which will power up the battery. That's it. That's the first stalk installed. Easy enough. Cool. 1 down. And then we'll grab number 2. And exactly the same thing. So you see the arrows, even though the kind of flaps are there, the arrows point there. So you need to make sure they're folded over, so that when you're pulling, you are actually pulling the adhesive off, if you can kind of see how that's going to work. But it's, yeah, it's pretty logical. So let's get that in the same place, opposite the other one. Get number 1 lined up. And that's at the front. Pushing on a bit, so I really am getting a bit of pressure on there, which is good. And then pull on number 1 all the way out. That's it, and then that's the adhesive on, and then number 2, and then that's adhesive on, and then pull number 3. Okay, so once your stalks are installed, which as you can see literally takes minutes, you need to make sure your command unit's installed. It's dead easy, and Enhance Auto have videos on YouTube showing you exactly how to do it, but in short, you pull off the rubber strip, you pull off a piece of plastic with the tool they provide you with, you unplug something, you put the wiring loom in, you plug it back together, put the plastic on, put the rubber back in place. It takes 5 minutes. Honestly, there's nothing intimidating about it, but the functionality it gives you is absolutely worth the time. So once you've got the stalks installed, you've got the commander unit installed, the next thing is to install the Sexy app. So that's from Enhance Auto. If you go to your app store, whether you're on Apple or Android, should be easy enough to find. It is literally called the Sexy app, and that's Sexy spelled S3XY, which of course is the Tesla model range. So download that app, and then I'll show you on here, once I screen share, what it looks like. So let's just start a screen recording. Here we go. Right, so if I launch the Sexy app, so in there, it's immediately saying there's a software update. Now, I'm going to very quickly do that. I won't keep you watching, so you can just fast forward through this bit if you like. Okay, so now everything is up to date with the software. So if I go back to the app here, you can immediately see at the top corner it says Ruby, which is the name I gave to this car because it's red and I'm unimaginative. And then right below that is the big circle there that shows you the current speed, which obviously I'm not moving, so therefore my speed right now is 0. But it means that if you turn this landscape, it gives you a really cool dashboard. And you can see on there the max power, the charge rate, the battery temperature, your range, what gear you're in, what mode you're in, and of course speed in the middle. So if you wanted to stick that on a magnet somewhere in front of you, it gives you a really usable dashboard with live data, because the command module is speaking directly to the app. It's so cool. Below that, you have the various physical parts that are involved in this. So you've got the Sexy buttons, and I have them scattered around the car. I have 4, and you can choose the functionality of them. If I click on here, there's 4 on there. So if I choose center, for example, I've got it that if I click it once, it will tilt my mirrors, so it's quite useful if you just need to be able to quickly see the lower level. If I double tap it, it will fold the mirrors, and if I hold it, it will toggle between the different acceleration modes. Now, you don't need to use the button, I'll explain that in a moment, but it's good. It's just one of the many accessories you can assign to, or many functions, sorry, you can assign to the buttons. Next thing is the commander. Now, the commander is the control unit. You need this for everything else to work. So the knob, the buttons, and the stalks don't work without the commander unit. But the stuff it does, even if you don't have those other elements, makes it worth the money. So first and foremost, if I go to the list here, and I'll just pick some. At the top, continuous autopilot. I cannot overstate how great that function is. What that does is when you're on the motorway and you're in autopilot, so it's auto steering, keeping you in the centre of the lane with your hands on the wheel, obviously. But when you go to indicate, it automatically disengages autopilot and then you change lane. Now what this mode does, thanks to the command unit, is as soon as you get into that lane, so when the car can see you've gone over the white lines, it re-engages autopilot exactly as you had it before. So you don't have to push any buttons. You literally just indicate, change lane, and it re-engages. It's a simple thing, but it's brilliant. And the only other way you can get that from Tesla is to pay thousands of pounds for the upgraded autopilot. Whereas this, it's just a couple of £100 and it gives you all of that. But there's more. You can mute the speed limit sound. Kick down. Kick down's brilliant. Kick down is where you can have the car in chill mode, which I think is much more comfortable, if I'm honest. And then when you put your foot to the floor, or you can choose what percentage you have to put the foot down to activate it, but I've chosen 100. When you put the foot to the floor, it automatically switches it from chill to normal mode, making it a bit more reactive, so it's a bit quicker. And it will stay in normal mode until you touch the brake. Then it will automatically go back to chill. So you don't have to switch between the modes, but you end up with the smoothest drive, but the power when you need it. Brilliant function. Autopilot penalty prevention, because the car will penalise you if you go too fast with autopilot on, which obviously you never should. The law says that, but that means that you don't get penalised. And then door handles. Simple things, just one of the other functions, is that I've programmed the door handle so that if I hold my hand and open the back left door, it opens the electric flap, and if I hold the driver's door handle for 4 seconds, it opens the front. Simple, but brilliant. And that's the kind of thing the commander unit brings. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about today. So I'm going to talk about the Stalks, which I have paired with the car, and I've just done the software update, as you saw. And then what you've got on screen here is the different functions. So what these Stalks do is they don't go forwards and backwards like normal Stalks. They go up and down, and then you've got the button. But you've got options beyond simply up and down. You can decide how many times or whether or not you hold it there, and that gives 3 functions per direction. So if I look at the screen here, the left stalk at the moment, so you can switch between right stalk and left stalk, so we're going to stay on the left. If you push it up, then it activates right turn, as you can see there on a single press. But what I prefer there is actually to be able to touch it and it just flash 3 times. So it's more a statement of intent than having to stay on. So what I'm going to do is if I click on it, you've got all these options here, and I'm going to change it to short right turn. So save action. So now when I touch it, it will just do 3 flashes and then turn off. But then if I go down to long press, and yep, that will change it, and we'll go to, it's under accessibility, I believe, accessibility. And then if I click right turn, so that will, first press will request a continuous right turn, a second press will cancel it. So if I save the action, so now if I touch the indicator once going up, it will flash 3 times. If I hold it up for a second, it will stay on until I either change lane and Tesla turns it off, or I just tap it again and that will disengage it. So if I put the same functionality on the left button, so if I change the initial press to a short left turn and then save that, and then scroll down to the long press action. Yep, I know that's going to change the function. Accessibility, change that to left turn, save action. So that's installed. But then in between, on both directions, you've got the option of a double tap, which can have an entirely different function. Now, I'm not sure what I'd put there, but to give you an idea of the choices, it can open the frunk. You certainly don't want that when you're driving. You can change the acceleration, and you can toggle between the different modes. So if you don't want to use the kick down, you could double tap your indicator and immediately go from chill to normal, which is pretty cool, let's face it. Beyond that, you can also use it to change your regen. Oh, so you double tap, you can actually change the regeneration going up or down, 25% toggles. You can't do that on the Tesla settings anywhere. Only the enhanced auto functionality gives you that. So you could use your indicator, which a lot of cars do. They actually have paddle shifts, don't they, the EVs, where you can change your regen. This, I could double tap the indicator and it will change my regen response. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to because I love my regen as it is, but nice to know that you could. Autopilot options. You can change the cruising speed. What else have we got? Media. I can change the volume up and down. I mean, to be fair, you've got the swiping button on the steering wheel, so I probably wouldn't bother with that. But mirrors, heated seats, seat cooling, climate control, headlights, wipers, tilt screen. There's a ton of options here. And the point is, you've got the freedom to choose. So they're not just indicators anymore, thanks to these enhanced auto Stalks. They're whatever you want to be, and indicators. I'd love that. So, okay. let's leave that alone. Let's go back to that left button. So single swipe, what's what we've got here? Single press of the button. Press once for a single wipe without any washer fluid. Fair enough, same as in the normal car or the older car. Long press to activate the windscreen washers with washer fluid. Okay, so I think that's the same as the old one. So that's great. I suppose the only thing that's missing is that you'd normally be able to pull it and flash the lights. But I've got to admit, one of the things that if I turn my glasses back on, while I find the indicator buttons annoying, I actually quite like the light button. I actually do use that. If you want to flash, it's quite convenient just to be able to pop your thumb over. So I don't mind that being as is. So I probably won't change anything there. Which brings us back to the right stalk. So if I swipe to the right, there we go. So it's set at the moment that if I push the button, it will put it into park, which is fine. It's exactly how I want it, really. I guess I just push it once. And I could probably, I can apply different functions to maybe double tapping it or long pressing it. I'm not sure what I'd put on, but I like the freedom to choose. And then the swipe, so I'd go up to put it into reverse, which is great. And then if I go down to put it into drive. Now that's one press, but I like in the older car, my previous one, to turn on autopilot, you double tap to the right hand side one. So I can add that as a function, because as is with this, you push a button on the steering wheel to turn on autopilot. I don't really want that. So if I go to double press action, and I'll assign that to autopilot, press once to enable autopilot, second time to disable it, autopilot hands on. To enable autopilot, press again to adjust the AP speed up and down. Press with the button will enable the autopilot, a useful feature for changing lanes. So if I click on autopilot, save action. So now when I double tap down, so one will be drive and double tap will be autopilot. Great. That's exactly what I need it to do. Right, okay. So I've added that functionality. It's updated it live. So I guess the next thing is we'll get this GoPro out of the way. Let's drive the car. Okay, I'm putting my foot on the brake and then pushing, to be honest, it's automatically put it into drive anyway. So I put it back into park, leave it, put it into park, and then leave it there. But then I'll push down on the stalk and that's put it into drive. So we can then drive away. And let's just have a quick check. I'm going to indicate left. Look at that, it's indicating. And you press it again to cancel or indicate right. Press it again to cancel. To be fair, I've left it, I've actually modified it and changed it so that when I press it, it will stay on until I actually change lane or turn it off, or presumably when the car senses a corner, but we'll check that in a moment. And I've left it so that the short presses, just the 3 flashes, are actually the buttons on the wheel, because I might as well use the fact they're there, and they are still, they might not be my most comfortable thing, my favourite thing, but when you're driving along making short manoeuvres, they are right there next to your thumb, so there's no hardship in just pressing it once while you're not making big turns. It's just it's not like a statement of intent. So being able to just push that once and it flashed 3 times, which it didn't do actually, so of course I guess it'll automatically just do a full one. I might have to tweak that. But anyway, coming up to a corner, so I'm going to indicate left. And indicators on. Now I've taken the corner. Will it recognise it? It does. So okay, so it works exactly the same as if you were using the indicator buttons, in the sense that you turn it on, and when you take the corner, the car knows you've taken the corner and then just simply disengages it. So it's good, there's no manual thing. I would expect it to do that, but it's nice just to have the reassurance. Just on this horrible road, very, very poorly maintained. What else is there to test? I already know that the drive works. I'm pretty confident I can put it in reverse, and obviously not right now. But if I get past this cyclist, we'll go up a little bit further. I kind of get the best of both worlds here. Now what I've also done is I've put it as a double tap. So if I double tap now, and it flashes my hazard lights twice. So I've put it on a single tap to just indicate fully. I haven't actually, I've turned off the hold it on at the moment, so I have to decide what I want to do with it. But if I double tap it quickly, then what it does is it does a double hazard light, which is a thank you. So if somebody lets you in somewhere and maybe in traffic, then you can thank them with just a double tap of the indicator, because the actual hazard light button is all the way up there, which is a ball ache. When you're driving, you're sort of like having to take your eye off the road to be able to push it. It's actually a bit inconvenient. which I've pushed it now. So that double indicator functionality, there you go, there's one of those extra things that this enables you to do that you otherwise simply wouldn't be able to do. Okay, so I'm now on a dual carriageway, but albeit one with a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, annoyingly, and not 70. But anyway, and so I want to use Autopilot. So what I've done is, if I put the camera back on, is I programmed the right-hand stalk, much like in the old model, that if I double tap down, it engages Autopilot. So it's taken me to the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, it's controlling my steering, and to disengage, I guess I double tap again, and it's off. Look at that. Now, I know, I can appreciate people who maybe don't have this latest generation of Model 3 are sat there watching this going, so you're excited about the fact that your car can do what mine's been able to do all along. And you're absolutely right. Make no mistake, this is not a problem that should need fixing. Tesla created these challenges, and it is frustrating. But at the same time, this car is really good. And there are so many things that they've done right with this third generation, this Highland, as they called it during development, that, to be fair, it's worth upgrading to it simply because there are so many great functions. And if the one thing that is your irritant is the fact that you unfortunately don't have stalks and you have buttons, this gives you the best of both worlds, because with this, you can install these stalks third party and still have all the upgrades and improvements that come with this being a third generation car, but at the same time, you can still put that functionality back in. So yes, it's not a problem that should have needed fixing, but the fact is, it's been fixed. And that's fantastic, because now I have the best of both worlds. I have the best Model 3 in terms of the build quality, the noise cancelling that I've got in here in terms of the wind and the road noise. Everything about it is better. But now I have the functionality that you took for granted in one of the earlier models, and I have had to make do with the buttons, but not anymore. Making this, with those stalks, the best Model 3 on the road. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to get back to concentrating on driving the car, but I really appreciate your time staying to this part of the video, because obviously it's a few minutes of your time, but I appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed, please do so below, and hopefully I'll see you on my future videos. Take care, drive safe.